And why do you guys think soy protein is the most important source of protein for both people and the planet?
Soy, it's not just food. It is sustainable, scalable nutrition.
What is the first thing that comes to your head when we say soy?
Soybean is one of the highly researched ingredient in animal feed.
In my soya milk, there's two ingredients, soybean and water. And we are also a zero waste company.
Only problem that I face today, not only me, other industries, is packaging. For us, mere packet, people need to invest up to like 1 million Nepalese rupees.
Like I've lately introduced cookies with soya milk. So I'm making it like a dairy-free and gluten-free cookies. So if we can come up with some innovative products, and it's a sugar-free product as well, like I always like to say.
I like products made out of soybeans, especially tofu. Humans like it, the animals like it more than humans like it. So this strong story, okay?
Protein, it's not a luxury nutrient. It's fundamental.
The taste of US soybean is very different to others. The major myth with the US soy is GM. Be assured, we are not serving you GM soy. It's non-GM, high protein, so please.
Be assured, Gaurav is printing money.
Hello to the audience. I think as a alikati different setup ma हजुरले हाम्रो thumbnail र title देख्नु भएको छ, so you might have already guessed content भित्र के छ भनेर. So as I'm excited and nervous at the same time because we are doing this something for the first time अनि हाम्रो audience लाई एकदमै धेरै धन्यवाद आइदिनु भएकोमा तपाईको अमूल्य समय. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. हुन त मैले आजको गेस्ट सँग सबैजनासँग one on one कुराहरु गरिसकेको छु, but I think to start with I'd like to ask all our guests to introduce yourself and also put a story behind how did you guys started your journey in soy ecosystem. So Deeba, would you like to go first?
Yes, good morning and thank you very much to Anup and on behalf of US Soybean Export Council. We're excited for the collaboration with the Doers and this live audience and the esteemed guests that are sitting here with me today. So my name is Deeba Giannoulis. I'm the Regional Head of Corporate Affairs for South Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa at the United Soybean Export Council. And beyond that, I'm also a mom of two incredible girls. I'm a wellness advocate, a fitness enthusiastic, and I'm a food person. And nutrition is a big, key, vital passion for myself. And I think soy is a big plays a big role in this journey of mine and a passion of mine. So as I become more involved in my personal and professional journey, food and soy itself and protein, I enjoy seeing how this high quality of protein can transform our lives, not just my family's lives, but the lives and communities beyond.
Gaurav,
Good morning and thank you everyone. Special thanks to Anup for letting me keep my point of view. So myself Gaurav Agrawal, and today I represent Sri Radhirani International Trading, and I come from a business background in which we have been doing in agro-commodities from past 50 years. We have been into agri-commodities import, processing and distribution. So like this business was started by my grandfather, late Mr. Kunjilalji Agrawal, and then carried by my father up to me. So initially, like 50 years back, we were generally buying from farmers, from the mountains, from the hills, from the Tarai region, and distributing in the Kathmandu Valley. And from like around 10, 12 years, we have been into processing. And from past like 7, 8 years, we've given much of focus on like soybean import and processing. We have been making many sorts of like innovative snacks. And we are again planning to make many more snacks and distribute into the Nepalese market made from soybean.
Sneezy.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you, US Soybean, for inviting us over. Thank you, Anupji, for doing the thing for us. And I would like to introduce myself as Sneh Lohia. I'm a director in Vegu Foods Private Limited. The company is founded by me. And actually, story why I started this company. I started this company because for my chora, He is lactose intolerant, and so am I. So I wanted to give him something which is of pure quality, which is preservative-free, which is high in protein, rich in fiber. So then during research, I came up with tofu. Then tofu industry, in Nepal, it is a very non-organized industry. It was available only in tubs with water, non-packaged available थियो त्यो बेला. And so then I thought that come up with a packaged food, and luckily there's competition always in the market, so other people also came up with the packaged tofu. Then I came up with soya milk. Then soya milk again I did without preservatives, without sugar, absolutely in natural form. So any of my products I try to do in a natural form, because I like to give whatever I can give to my chora, I want to give to the entire community. And that's why I came in a packaged form for my products. And that's how this industry came up.
Yes, thank you for this conversation. So I'm Dr. Dinesh Gautam. So I'm basically a veterinarian working in the animal industry for the almost 2.5 decades. Primarily, I started my career with animal feed milling operations. I used to oversee the production, nutrition, and the formulations that goes beyond the animal feed, inside the animal feed. So I'm very closely associated with the production, poultry production, meat and eggs, and also consult with my clients and advocate the policy issues with Nepal Feed Industry Association, where I am a central advising committee member. And we also have a solvent industry called Himalayan Solvent, which is actually formed for crushing soybeans and producing high quality soybean meal that goes into the animal feed industry. So I'm basically a veterinarian working closely with the protein that we eat on daily basis, meat and egg.
So maybe this is something I think Deeba already mentioned, but I'd like to raise this question again. Why do you guys think soy protein is the most important source of protein for both people and the planet?
So soy, it's not just food. It is sustainable, scalable nutrition, and it can power and empower communities from moms like me to school kids, to athletes, to the elderly. So it is available for everybody. And it is a plant-based protein. So for those here in Nepal, for dietary choices, it has all your complete essential amino acids.
Sneezy?
I mean, I would agree with Deeba on this, because soy is like a complete protein. And if you notice, if people, हाम्रो नेपालमा non-vegetarian body छ हैन, but people त्यो non-vegetarian लाई protein कहाँबाट आउँछ? Meat बाट आउँछ. त्यो animal लाई protein कहाँबाट पाउँछ? Animal लाई protein सोयाबाट पाइरहेछ from the animal feed. So why are we going indirect? Why are we going through the animals to get the protein? Let's go direct, हैन? Let's go direct. Let's consume the soy. And Nepal is such a big soy market in the sense हामी त सबभन्दा बढी भटमास खान्छौँ नि. ब्ल्याक भटमास हामी भुटेको खान्छौँ, सान्देको खान्छौँ. हामी त्यो एडेमामै आउँछ, त्यो ग्रीन सोयाबिन्स जुन महिनामा आई थिंक स्पेशली इट्स अवेलेबल हैन. एन्ड त्यो हामी उसको त्यो करी पनि बनाउँछौँ, सब्जी बनाउँछौँ, उसको वी हेभ इट एज अ सैलड. So I think Nepal is such a big market for soy, and I think so much awareness is required that how soya can provide protein to the people. You know, so adding to your, answering to your question is, soya is such a complete protein in itself that people should be more aware. हामी यति के खाइरहेको छु. I'm sure the villagers are eating more than us, हैन? But in city we are एउटा त्यो wrong message भन्न मिल्दैन, but एउटा awareness हुन्छ नि through social media. We are not getting the right awareness that how it is a complete protein भनेर.
Maybe गौरवदाले त भन्दा दिनेश दाइलाई भन्नु पर्ला यो डाइरेक्ट इनडाइरेक्ट वाला कुरामा what do you have to add?
Yeah, strange question. So I'm a consumer also. So I like products made out of soybeans, especially tofu, as such, soybeans as such, butera, in any forms. But as she said, the humans like it. The animals like it more than humans like it. So this is strange story, okay? So they prefer feed made out of soybeans. If we omit soybean accidentally in the feed, they refuse to eat. So that kind of love animals have on soybean meal. So soybean meal is an essential component of any animal feed in the planet. And because of that, I think we are here discussing more on soybeans, and animals are a bigger component than humans in terms of feed requirements. So I think it is a choice. We grow chickens and eggs for our not only for our taste but also our protein requirement. So it is highly viable. It is more viable than the amino acids from soybeans. And for animal proteins and eggs, this is an essential component. So,
Gaurav?
Especially, I would say soybean is important for Nepal for two reasons. First of all, we are a protein deficient country. So soybean is one of the complete form of all 9 sort of amino acids we get into soybean. This is regarding protein. It's a complete source of best plant-based protein. Secondly, it's affordable. See, we are a developing country. We can't afford to invest a lot in protein-rich diet. So what else could you ask for? It's affordable. It's a complete source of plant-based protein. So these are the two things because of which like soybean is very crucial for the Nepalese health and economy as well. And secondly, soybean is such a tremendous ingredient for making any sort of like beverage, let it be drinks, let it be snacks, even a part of main course meal. So what else could you ask for? It is cheap, it is complete, and you can blend it in any way that you want. You get soy milk, you get soy yogurt for beverages, you get like soy nuts, soy snack, that is very popular in Nepal. And at the end of the day, for the main course, you even have soybean curry. So isn't that what we are looking at? Affordability plus acceptability. So this is why soybean is a must for Nepal. Unfortunately, although soybean has been a very ancient crop for Nepal, especially in this region, for everyone who is listening, like initially soybean was developed in China like around 5,000 years ago. It's an ancient crop. And Nepalese have been culturally and traditionally like associated with soybean. Whenever you go in mountains, people used to have like boiled soybeans, as my friend said, in form of edamame, roasted soy nuts, and any other snacks that you have. So we have a very tremendous opportunity looking at the current scenario. So let's hope like we have a very nice future ahead with the soybeans.
And on my research, मैले अझै एउटा इन्ट्रेस्टिङ कुरा पाएको चाहिँ nothing gets wasted through soybean. So even for the planet, it's so wonderful, right?
Exactly, it's sustainable. It gives back to the soil. It pushes back nitrogen from the air to the soil. What else could you ask for? It's environment friendly as well.
Okay, so let me ask a question just to Deeba. So it's been a couple of months that we started working together, and there's this term that is quite repeated again and again, that is right to protein. And we have been working closely with this initiative for 2 to 3 years, right? So could you help us understand what right to protein actually is, and what are the impact that you have seen because of this campaign on the whole soy ecosystem?
Yeah, so initially the Right to Protein campaign has been back in late 2018, early 2019, and we launched this initially in India. So the Right to Protein campaign is a protein agnostic. We are not saying soy, right? We're not just promoting soy. It's your chicken, it's your pork, your fish, your lentils, your beans, anything that is high quality in terms of protein. Now, today, I would say that conversation has shifted. So I have some statistics. So we have now seen over 10 million people engaging in a tool that we have developed called the Proteinometer. So you can go on righttoprotein.com, and it's a proteinometer. And this helps you calculate your daily protein requirements. And so now the conversation has shifted about, okay, protein is just from athletes to, am I getting enough protein? And the beauty of the Right to Protein, it's a great conversation starter, right? It's not specific to one sort of segment. It's all inclusive. And in Nepal, one of the most popular things that we have done yearly is the Right to Protein Run. That allows for a lot of collaboration with local industries, poultry industry, with the soy food industry as well. And that draws in a lot of awareness from that. So soy is central to the movement of the Right to Protein campaign. It is, as we were talking, a complete protein that is sustainable, versatile, and affordable. And this is where we're seeing the magic happening.
Is there any certain things that you use to track the impact of this whole campaign?
Before, we used to go and approach certain industries, whether it's the feed associations, the poultry industries, but now the awareness has become so strong that people are coming to us wanting to collaborate. Industry approaching the Right to Protein campaign, wanting it a part of it. People want to start putting the Right to Protein label on their packages because it's inclusive, it's quite catchy, it's a marketing.
You know, in marketing, we consider a campaign is super successful when the copywriting becomes a synonym of the whole agenda. And seems like that's the case here. I'd like to ask Gaurav, you mentioned you are in the business since three generation business, right? Almost 50 years. I was born in 1990. So your business is, your family business, 50 years. So there is a unique challenge of doing business in Nepal, right? So what are the challenges and opportunities that you have faced since this multiple generations? So that to bring the soy food to the retail market?
The major challenge that we have currently, we do have is awareness about the benefits of soybean. People don't know, yeah, they consume soybean, but they are unaware about the protein benefits, the health benefits about the soybean. So in case if the population knows, yeah, the thing that we are eating, we have these benefits, things could have been a lot easier. And when you look at the business terms, like currently, we are importing from the US. Our company is first in South Asia to import identity preserved specialty soybean from the US. It's been over a year, and we have been distributing the market. But when you look like 30, 40 years, 50 years down the line, first of all, the soybeans are grown in the hilly regions, in little up higher regions. So we used to procure from there. So the quality was an issue. Although Nepalese soybean is very good, but still like impurities and other mixtures, yeah, that is an issue. Secondly, awareness, as I told you. And thirdly, like what health benefits could we get? Slowly, because of the social media and campaigns and institutions like USEC, people are getting to know, like, why is this product getting hyped? What is soybean? What is so much of fuss about soybean? So people are getting aware. And as Deeba said, Right to Protein Run, like just 4 months back, I think it was in January, right? We collaborate with them. Like currently we are making tofu and soy milk. It's just in sampling stage. So wherein we give the samples to the general people, ask them, do you like it or not? If you like it, we move ahead. Otherwise, we improve our quality. So we got a chance through USEC to showcase our tofu at a marathon. So we served around like 4,000 to 5,000 people who participated in the marathon. And to our surprise, 90% plus people liked it. Especially we targeted people who are regular eaters of tofu. When people were sampling, we asked them, so is this your first time you are eating tofu, or are you a regular eater? Some people said, no, this is my regular diet, tofu. So we asked them a few extra questions. So all of them liked the final product that was made from US soybean. So that's a tremendous opportunity. And secondly, I tell you, it's affordable stuff. Soybean, currently I would say it's at par with other commodities. If you look 6 months back, it was cheaper than other commodities. So what are the food manufacturers looking at? They need a cheap ingredient, a very healthy ingredient. By cheap, I don't mean like health-wise. Price-wise, they need it to be affordable, plus a health benefit in which they can make a considerable amount of value addition and give it back to the market. So like in recent 10, 12 years, the food sector using soybean, it is quite evolving. The results are surprising. There are few drawbacks. I would say like I have been participating in many trade shows, exhibitions. So wherever I go out, I do carry Nepalese snacks made with soybeans. I carry the snacks with me anywhere I go. Deeba knows me very well.
What's the feedback that you generally get?
Trust me, it's very good. I'll give you an instant. Last month, I got an opportunity to participate in Ahar. So we had a small stall wherein we displayed soy nuts. Would you believe the Indian food processing minister, Minister for Food Processing Industry, Mr. Chirag Paswan, we served your snacks. And just guess, I like it, I love it. This was what was his. So I really feel proud and privileged that I represent Nepal and Nepalese food manufacturers who are processing soybean. Our quality, taste, everything is very the world likes it. When I go out, I take it outside. When people like Deeba and other guests come to Nepal, I serve them. So they like it. Only problem that I face today, not only me, other industries, is packaging. Our product is above par. It can compete in any sort of international arena. The only biggest problem that I face and I'm sure other food manufacturers must also be facing, is the cost of packaging. Like you buy soybeans, you buy oil, you buy spice and seasoning, you know, like this much amount of stock isn't go down or in your industry, but the cost of packaging is hidden. Like people, for a mere packet, for one design, people need to invest up to like 1 million Nepalese rupees. And in case if you have 4 to 5 packaging, just imagine 5 million rupees dumped in your godowns and you don't even realize it. So in case if we go to get anything like maybe through government or through like packaging material suppliers, if we could like minimize the cost of packaging, along with that the MOQ, like the packaging material suppliers, they have a MOQ, like you need this much of quantity. So that would be a great help to take our already good product to the international markets.
I'm really curious. I mean, like, because you mentioned it's a 3-generational business, right? Yeah. So when you talk with your father, when you talk with your grandfather, has there been any change in the dynamics of the problem? One. Second, the problem that you just mentioned about the packaging. Is this a new problem? I mean, like, because obviously the world has become more aesthetic friendly. We like good looking things. So is this a new problem, or the problem of packaging has been there since 50 years?
Packaging was always there. It was 30 years back, it was 40 years back. The problem is 30, 40 years back, it was not very attractive, it was not very expensive. It was a similar package, it was a simple packaging. But now in the evolving environment and a lot of investment getting into packaging, the materials are getting expensive and the cost of getting packaging is increasing. So obviously it has evolved, and it has evolved for good, but everything good demands money. So because of that, overall this experience is getting a little tough.
But don't you think the lack of awareness is actually not a problem but an opportunity? Because in a market like Nepal, you have a first mover advantage that if you can spread the awareness, your product would win the market, right?
Yes, like as I told you, our product is good. But whenever you go to a market, you go to any superstore, the product being placed in the shelves, obviously your first reaction would be on the packaging. Although we Nepalese are used to, like we know, see, packaging is secondary, anything that goes inside it should be good. We believe that way. But still, the international market doesn't accept that. Trust me, whenever I go out, like soya nuts and other soya snacks have been a big hit outside. My US friends, my suppliers, last time few people visited Nepal and they were so shocked. Wow, it's so tasty. Why don't you guys improve the packaging? So this is our own problem. Slowly we are going to do it.
But I think Nepal being such a young country with an average of 24, I think these generation definitely look for the aestheticness of any product, right? So yeah, it has to be good inside, it has to be good outside.
First it should be outside, then people know what's inside.
Yeah, that's very debatable. Okay, I think building upon what you just said, I mean, like the health benefit of soya is so huge, but I like to ask this question to Sneh. While I was doing my research, I figured there are a few misconceptions about hormonal health when it comes to soybean, right? I mean, like, while we are talking about there's so much of health benefits, there's a whole misconception. Have you figured such misconception and myth around?
Actually, I have. So the other day I was just talking to a client. I'll start with that, and then she was a buyer of my soya milk. And then she came to me and she said, now my nutritionist has asked me not to consume it anymore. Soy. Because she's reaching her menopause.
Okay.
I know. She's getting her ovaries removed, and that's why she's reaching her menopause, and that's why she's not allowed to use soy anymore. So I was quite surprised, and I didn't want to argue with her, but it is. So I went back home, and I'm like, there's something wrong in it, because then I went into the research, and then I saw that, soybean helps. Menopause, no, it will help you instead. The hot flashes come on her. Bone density improve karcha soybean lai. Soybean ma jo isoflavones huncha, that really helps in increasing the bone density. When a woman gets menopause, they get the anxiety huncha, depression huna sakcha, irritation huncha. In fact, really, we should really make everyone aware, especially the nutritionists, the food technologists, the people, the food dietitians huncha. We should explain them that how soy is rather helping you, not,
Ironic, no? We have to make them aware about.
I think I was quite surprised when she said my nutritionist asked me not to buy soy anymore. Soya milk, I'm sorry, soya milk, I can't consume one. And I was quite surprised. And it helps in every single phase of your menopause, pre-menopause, during menopause, and post-menopause. So we should really, make that maybe videos, or talk to the nutritionist or the food dietitians where how soybean, in whatever form you take, in edamame form, in soya milk form, in whatever form you take, but at least consume it so that it helps you. Rather than thinking that, and there's also a very big myth in women that soybean like breast cancer cause karta.
Okay.
It is a very big myth. So we really need to have that awareness also that it does not cause any.
More science-backed awareness.
Exactly. You should be, science, companies like USEC, they're doing so much research. So when such big companies, such big organizations are coming up with the researchers, how as an individual I am to decide that it is causing a breast cancer? There are so many people who have breast cancer who have not consumed soy ever in their life. What about them? How have they got breast cancer? Having to talk about that, Yuvraj Singh, the cricketer, he got lung cancer. How has he got lung cancer? He is the most fit person. How can he get lung cancer? So how is it affecting him? A fit person who's always running, always doing something, if he's got lung cancer. So that is nothing to do with that single product effect kare chaina ni. Similarly, how is soya single-handedly is affecting you as in breast cancer? Or there's another myth which says men ma fertility kam huncha. So again, this is a myth. So,
Yeah. I think in 2025, where the internet has completely disseminated the power of information, the problem is also there about the fake news and not so.
Yeah, and we should make people aware with the right messages. So, I mean, I don't know if I should be saying this, it's out of context, but there's so many times you get the memes, videos saying that, so my mother-in-law that said, don't have cucumber, it is going to affect you. The other day, next day, she said, no, yesterday I said wrong. Today you should have cucumber because I've got another video which says it's good. So this is how social media can affect you, Every day new information pumps in, whom to believe, whom not to believe. So, companies like USEC, how they have taken as a right approach, they've taken as a right approach where we should give right information to the people.
I'm not saying this because I'm in this content business, but I think more and more genuine business should be creating more this authentic information, right?
Yeah, I think it's so important. I mean, right now only Ms. Dinesh ji was telling me that his daughter has lactosoy. So she's very happy and she's having soy milk. I said, that has milk powder in it. And it awareness is na. So no one is bothered to read the ingredients. So I always say read the ingredients. When I manufacture my product, I try to manufacture it with the minimum ingredients. Like in my soya milk, there's 2 ingredients, soybean and water. And we are also a zero waste company. We soya ko okra, we give it to the animals for the feed. So similarly, we try to make it, so, I think nutrition, the health issues, it's so important that we make everyone aware.
I like how you keep on saying, even on our conversation off the record, my product has just 2 products, water and soybean.
No, because I really want people to be aware that packaged product, as you see a packaged product, what do you say to your child? We tell them, do not have this because it is going to be with preservatives, it is going to be unhealthy, it is going to be with sugar. That is, as you see a packaged product, don't you, I think as parents we understand, we always go and tell, packaged product fresh why do you want to have a packaged product? So I want to change that concept in people's mind that even packaged product can come without preservatives, can be healthy, can be without sugar. We do not have to add flavors, to consume it.
I like to, before move on to Dinesh, I'd like to add one more question on the same narrative. So I've been hosting this podcast since last 6 years, and I've hosted a lot of entrepreneurs. And one common pattern that I've figured among entrepreneurs is successful ones scratch their own itch. I mean, they come up, they build the business around their own problems, right? And I think you are no different. Yeah. How you mentioned in the beginning how you came up with this. So now, while we were talking about how healthy it is, let me raise a question: how economically it can be beneficial for human to build business around soy?
So see, economically, like how Gaurav said that it is a comparatively cheap ingredient to your product. But what happens, again, he said packaging. When I sell my soya milk in this bottle, the bottle only alone costs me 60 rupees. Oh. Labeling costs me something else. So now if you want to go and buy a product, suppose I'm selling it for 100, you do not want to buy, but where do I sell it from? So,
Yeah.
So packaging is equally important. How do how do you package your product and sell your product? So that is important. As far as economy is concerned, why do we are just looking at a cheaper product? Let's say economical when I'm healthier. I do not have to visit hospitals. I have to visit less hospitals. I know. Why don't we look at it that way rather than just looking for the cheapest product and still be healthy? Pay for your product, I would say. Pay for your good product, and then let the health benefit. Then maybe you go for a run, you go for anything. You're not fatigued. You are not. Depression, mental health is so important these days. Are we even taking care of it? If we keep looking for something which is just economical, maybe we are losing on the fact that we are losing on our health rather than just. So I always feel health is money.
And Anup, to add with her, like you said, like what are the myths with the soybean? Like everyone knows the largest consumers of soybean are China, Japan and Korea. Japan, world's second largest population. China, Japan and Korea in together, we believe, like people believe, is they have the maximum longevity and they are among one of the healthiest population. So in case if there was any drawbacks, any side effects, anything, so like why would Chinese, Japanese and Koreans rely heavily on soybean? It is nothing, it's a golden bean with a lot of benefits. US soy, 42 plus protein. 42 plus protein is not a joke. Like it'll cost you a very heavy amount, but it's still cheap. So I'll insist all the Nepalese who are listening to it, don't go behind myths, go behind fact, try it, taste it, you'll believe.
I like how you made it so poetic. So Dinesh, finally here we are. So almost 25 years of experience. That's quite a lot, no? I mean, almost quarter of century.
Yes.
So what is the first thing that comes to your head when we say soy?
Is an incredible ingredient. So that's how we say it in animal field. So without this, I think our industry cannot sustain without soybean. So it do not have been here if it was not with soybean. So a must ingredient for all kinds of animals, and I already told you is a must for animals.
And animals
they love
loves
it.
it
They
more
love
than
it.
humans do.
Yeah, and apart from, I think, the health benefits, there are nutritional benefits which I think I want to highlight on soybeans on animals. So it's a kind of complete nutritional profile with balanced amino acids, energy and stuffs, which helps them convert the protein in soybeans to animal proteins or eggs. So it is the complete food basket for animals.
Like you've got such a deep expertise within this industry, almost 25 years, deeper expertise in Nepalese poultry value chain. So I was reading a document where I think it was written by you, and then it was mentioned stagnation on the industry since last 5 years. How did this stagnation ended up happening?
I think it started with COVID, because a lot of industries in Nepal, not only poultry, has a big hit on due to COVID. So that impact is still, I think we are feeling that impact. COVID has an impact on the population that Nepal has. A lot of people now are going out for job, studies and abroad. So when we talk about effective population, we doubt the official figures published. Okay, so a lot of people moving out, they were the principal consumer for animal protein and also soybeans at large. Yeah. So because of that, I think the pace of growth of the industry was hard, and because of primary reason was that, but we are the stagnation on this, I think, Tom, is a good or bad. Okay, a good in terms, at least we are maintaining the per capita consumption in Nepal. So a lot of other segments have been a big hit, but poultry is still maintaining. That is a good part.
And
the bad part is, yeah, sorry.
The only industry that is one of the few industry that is very self-reliant.
Yeah,
in
it's
terms of
self-sufficient.
local-
I should say
self-sufficient,
self-sufficient. Yeah, so we are self-sufficient in poultry meat and egg. So we don't have to import any poultry meat and egg from outside. So the industry, Nepal industry is self-sufficient. Is declared by the government already. So, but there are issues around that to maintain that self-sufficiency status. So I think the bad part is that we are growing pre-COVID. We are growing at the pace of almost 5 to 6% per annum. That growth is not there now. So we are seeing this year a little growth in 2020, later half of 2024 to first quarter of 2025. So we are seeing some growth because of the principally some of the cross-border movements not happening in Nepal. So, but at large it is at stagnation stage.
तर यो जुन अघि हजुरले भनेको प्रब्लम छ अब आई थिङ्क हिजै एउटा न्युज पढिरहेको थिएँ मैले मन्थली अब डेली 2000-2500 रेन्जमा सो मन्थली 60,000 देखि 70,000 रेन्जमा
7 lakhs around
we are
per
losing
annum,
people.
yeah.
होइन अनि इट डज नट सिम्स टु बी गोइङ डाउन झन् बढिरहेको छ होइन आई थिङ्क देयर इज सम सेन्स अफ
Yeah.
नेगेटिभिटी हाम्रो
Evolving around
कम्युनिटीमा
that.
होइन सो के हो त मतलब घटिरहेको छ भने त झन् डिप्रेसिङ स्टेट हो अब
Yes, we'd say it that way, but you look at the remittance also. Okay, so the flow of money coming into Nepal has increased. Official figures, yeah. So that money has been spent on foods like meat, egg, and others. Okay, so actually the people that are residing in Nepal, they're staying in Nepal, they're eating more chicken and more egg than they used to eat before. That's how we are maintaining the status quo or at this stage. So putting into this perspective, we eat around 10.5 kilo of poultry meat per capita. So one person per capita is 10.5 kilo. When you divide by an official number, which is 2 crore 91 lakh. So if we divide that by a number which is residing in Nepal with official figures of migration, then that would be almost 15 kilos. So it has grown, per capita has grown. So people, the remittance, the larger chunk of that money has been spent on food, which is not affordable. And the good part of poultry and eggs is that the price, when you see the price movement 10 years before, when the mutton or the khasigo masu was around 600 rupees, it has grown up to 1400 rupees. And you compare chicken, is almost the same. So here the industry has been able to maintain the price because of the efficiency that it has gained. And of course, soybean has an advantage on that, because soybean is an incredible ingredient that has the wider use of the soybean meal and denser feed and good husbandry practices, and that has reduced the cost of production to an affordable range. So
एउटा हजुरलाई त्यसमा म एउटा आई लाक्स यो हाइपोथेटिकल क्वेसन है त इमेजिन हामीले हाम्रो चिकनमा गरिने इन्भेस्टमेन्ट कस्ट मतलब कन्सटेन्ट राख्यौँ र हाम्रो इन्भेस्टमेन्ट चाहिँ लेट्स से फर इक्जाम्पल वी जस्ट स्टार्टेड फिडिङ मोर हायर क्वालिटी अफ सोय भनौँ न होइन मैले सुन्न खोजिरहेको चाहिँ फिडको क्वालिटी बढाइदिउँ अरू सबै कुरा कन्सटेन्ट राख्यो भने चाहिँ डु यु थिङ्क द आउटपुट अफ आवर चिकन एन्ड एग्स कुड बी हायर बेटर
it would definitely higher better, and in line with that, the cost of production will go down. Not only the output will go up, but the cost of production per unit will go down.
झन् कस्ट अफ प्रोडक्सन त बढ्न पर्ने हो नि त किन भन्दाखेरि क्वालिटी खानाको फिडको क्वालिटीमा माथि लगाइसकेछ त
Yeah, this is the input. This is not the output. Yeah, so it will grow more chicken, more meat. So if you count by the number, the output, the cost of production will go down. That's what exactly is happening with the introduction of US soybean meal into Nepalese industry. So we have been using. I have been suggesting people to use that only because it will reduce the cost of production of final egg or a meat.
So it might look expensive on a first glance, but then when you see the whole process,
Yeah,
production
because it is not soybeans that you sell. You sell chicken or egg. Yeah, so your product is chicken and egg, not soybean. So it is an input, but when using higher quality or even higher priced, higher quality ingredients, it will definitely it will eventually reduce the cost of production. That's why people are using it.
त्यसमा can I add? त्यसमा जस्तो यो cattle industry हुन्छ नि त्यो जो animal feed लाई त्यो not only poultry, even if you feed to the cattle, the cow and the buffaloes, even their milk production increases. Soya feed गर्दाखेरि That's why when the hamro okraहरू बच्छ नि, so people especially come and ask for it because the production increases of the milk.
हाम्रो चाहिँ एउटा कम्प्युटर ल्याङ्ग्वेजमा गिगो भन्छौँ कि गार्बेज इन गार्बेज आउट होइन द क्वालिटी अफ डेटा यु पुट इन द क्वालिटी अफ द इन्टेलिजेन्स द्याट कम्स आउट होइन अनि जुन अघि गौरव दाले भन्नुभएको थियो द आई थिङ्क इन हिज 50 years अफ लाइक होल बिजनेस एक्सपिरियन्समा चाहिँ अवेरनेस सिम्स टु बी वान अफ द मेजर प्रब्लम अनि यो इन्डस्ट्रीमा पनि इट्स द अवेरनेस इट्स द फ्याक्ट द्याट पिपल डोन्ट नो द्याट बाई डुइङ अ बेटर हाई क्वालिटी इनपुट द आउटपुट क्यान बी इन्क्रिज सो
Unlike humans, not the same. So we are more aware than what humans are, and in soybean is one of the highly researched ingredient in animal feeding. So if you search the benefits of soybean meal in poultry nutrition or cattle nutrition, you will end up having thousands of articles on Google itself. So there are tremendous amount of exercise, research, and extensions happening on soybeans. People know. Yes, sir. There is some lack of awareness in terms of the origins. Yes, there is some. That also is narrowing down, and we are now opting for higher quality origin sources like US soybeans and others. So I think there is a differentiating factor into place, but it's more or less our industry. So most of the feed millers in Nepal, they are using soybean meals. I think 25-26% in their feed. So awareness is there.
Okay, so let me put a very open-ended question to every one of you here, because in Doers, I think in the last 6 years, if there is one narrative that we have been very constant on, it's Nepal need more entrepreneurs. I think entrepreneurship is the way to grow this economy, right? So now if I frame a question, for example, for younger entrepreneurs, for people who wants to get into entrepreneurship and business around soy, what could be hidden opportunities that you guys have seen, that you guys are tapping in, that you believe other entrepreneurs can also tap in and build something out of it? So what could be these opportunities for younger Nepalese entrepreneurs around soy ecosystem?
Well, start?
Yeah, please.
See, the demand for soy and soy products has increased tremendously after COVID. After 2020, the demand for soybean and the awareness has increased. Main reason is lactose intolerance. Okay, people all who relied on milk and dairy products, they are getting more and more intolerant. Before 2020, this lactose intolerance, like this term, was a privilege. Only few people knew about it. They faced it. But now I don't know what, like God knows, like after 2020, things have changed and people are getting more and more allergen with lactose. So soybean milk is a very good and the only alternative that I believe is for like the dairy milk. So this particular problem, like as an entrepreneur, you need to answer to the problems. Every opportunity, like you need to tap with the problems. So like the biggest benefit that I see for entrepreneurs is the awareness, as I already told, through institutions like USEC, so soybean is increasing. Our health is getting like lactose intolerant. So it is our like compulsion to search for alternate good products. So soybean health-wise, availability-wise, like in recent times, until like 10 years back, we relied heavily on Nepalese soybean, but due to the increasing like demand for soya products, we had to import from other origins like India. And in recent like 10, 12 years, some quantity was imported from Africa. Secondly, I want to add one more thing. Like currently, Nepal's domestic production is around like 28,000 metric tons for soybean. Okay. And in around food, it's consumed for like 40,000 metric tons. So we have a deficiency. We have a demand like deficit, supply deficit of around like 40%. So we need to anyhow import it from any origin. So what I believe, especially for food, see, whatever we do is for living, for a healthier living. Why not import a soy that is protein rich and affordable as well and do value addition? Like I would want to give an example. Like this is a conversation going all around soy. If you don't mind, I want to add with peanuts.
Yeah, please.
Like peanuts has been a major snack in the Nepalese market. All of us must be knowing about that. Wherever you go, you see peanuts. So what is the major problem with peanut processing? For you to understand why soy processing, you need to know what is the problem with other ingredients. The major problem with peanuts is like unpredictability. You can't predict. Sometimes you get a very good quality. Sometimes the quality is very bad. And the yield that you get, by yield I mean like if you use like 1 ton of raw peanuts and when you make final product,
Sometimes you get 80% of final product, sometimes 82, sometimes 78, sometimes 85. So it's very unpredictable. And the margin is very limited. For any entrepreneur, like at least business should be somewhat predictable margin-wise. You must be knowing, like if I am using 100 kgs of a particular ingredient, which is a major raw material, if I get 80%, my cost would be this. If I get 85%, my cost would be this. Other ingredients don't give you predictability. Sometimes final product might be 80, sometimes 75, sometimes 85. But soybean, especially soybean, US soybean, I would say, it gives you predictability. When you use 100 kgs of US IP soybean, you get almost like 90%, 90 kgs of final products. And that is almost similar. A percent up and down, depending on the moisture, you get the final product. This gives you predictability to the entrepreneurs, to price your goods, to level your margins. This is one benefit that I see soybean as an ingredient in comparison to others. Secondly, it's tasty. The benefit behind the US origin soy, I would tell, the taste is blonde. If you use other origins like Indian or African, Nepalese soybean is always good, but still we need to import. The taste of US soybean is very different to others. It is little sweeter in taste. So whenever you make any snacks out of it, the taste is obviously improved. And the crunchiness that you get is very different. Like I have been sampling with tofu and soy milk. The difference that I found between other soybeans is it is more clear, it is more clean. The taste is very good. It doesn't have a beanie flavor. And nutrition profile is always there. It's a bonus for us. So looking at all this, availability, pricing, health benefits, what else could you ask for? Just go behind it, make more and more of soy nuts. And one myth I just wanted to add, like we were talking about myth. One of the major prevailing myths in the market is, like you can see the Facebook also, people comment, like social media is very active. People are not clear about any stuff, but still like the wrong stuff go haywire. Like the major myth with the US soy is GM. You ask anyone, oh, US soy, you are importing GM soy, so you are not a good person, not importing good stuff. US grows 90% of GM soy, but 10% is non-GM. So Nepal, as a country, it allows only import of non-GM for human consumption. So Nepal has been importing, we as an importer, we have been only importing non-GM soy for human consumption. So anyone who is going through this podcast, through this event, be assured, like we are not serving you GM soy. It's non-GM, high protein, so please.
And be assured, Gaurav is printing money.
I wish I could.
Yeah,
I think if I might, I think for entrepreneurs who are willing to start in the soy food space or in the industry, ask yourself why. Why are you doing this? Okay, and understand what it is that you want to do. You have to understand why protein fits in what it is that you want to do and how it's going to translate in the culture and the region that you are wanting to market in. Get your information correct. You know, as Anup said, there's a lot of fake news, real news, and it's very difficult to distinguish, which is where we have this awareness campaign, the Right to Protein. Learn the information, it's all science-backed, but figure out what it is that you want to do. You will fail, you will give up, you will bang your head against the wall, you'll wonder why you even went down the route, but you have to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Just know that that this space, in terms of soy, in a country where it is acceptable, accessible.
Is there any particular product you would like to suggest? Because you are based in Dubai, you are from US, so you must have seen products out of soy that's already quite popular outside and not yet introduced to Nepal.
So I like meals, but I also like snacking. I don't sit for 3 meals a day. I eat maybe like 10 mini meals a day. And because I'm quite active, what I don't see is clean bars, like clean protein bars.
You guys invest quite a lot in trainings, right? So could you tell us a bit about how does USEC has been investing in?
We partner with the Soy Nutrition Institute. It's a global initiative where we have like regional folks in the nutrition and dietitian space. So that we do a lot of education and training and all the myth busting and all the research and data. And then we look at also the regional perspective, what it is that they're telling in their country to their clients or patients. The other thing what we do is the Soy Excellence Center, And so we have these globally, and what we have educational tracks on soy food, on feed milling, on dairy, on aquaculture. So it's pretty much an online, it's an online educational platform, and there's different stages. So you complete this online self-paced with live check-ins and some quizzes. And then from there, then it's an in-person event where you get more hands-on experience and interact with the global experts as well.
Sneezy?
Theo, I would just add on to what you spoke, that what other product entrepreneurs can get and what is available in other countries. So the soya, what is your meat replacement huncha ni? So since I'm a vegetarian, I look at it in that way, and since I'm in the food industry, so so I think there's not a lot of meat replacement available in supermarkets. So there are few restaurants who are vegan and who supply this meat replacement. So I think if entrepreneurs, they really want to do some research, come into the industry, do how talk to the food technologist, how you can develop. I think if they come and develop this meat replacements, I think they will do wonders, because it tastes like chicken. It is going to give you high protein, rich in fiber. It is going to give you all the basic, nutritions you're looking for in your body. And still, you're not eating meat. There are a lot of people who are okay with eating meat, but there are so many people who are not okay with eating meat. Sometimes it's a Saturday, sometimes it's a Tuesday, or
For a lot of reasons.
Yeah, a lot of it is Shraddh buy or you buy. So, so you can still enjoy your, replacement. So if entrepreneurs, they really want to come, the young ones, they can really put their hands on in something like a meat replacement,
And adding to what you just said, I think I can already see a couple of new innovative products. The other day I saw sauces made out of soybean.
So it is there. Market ma chaina bhanera hoina. It is
Obviously,
there. Yeah, but if if it is there in the shelves also,
Exactly.
so more people can have it. It's there. It's very very, I think 1% in the market. So if we can bring it more, like I've lately introduced cookies with soy milk. Yeah, so I am making it like a dairy-free and gluten-free cookies. So if we can come up with some innovative products, and it's a sugar-free product as well, like I always like to say.
What's your approach? I'm really curious. So, नयाँ product बनाउनु पर्यो भने चाहिँ how does the research and how does it work? How do you really come up with a new product?
So first of all, I listen to my clients.
Okay.
So once they come up with something, they're like, "Male to yahi chahiन्छ. I want this only. Can you make me without the sugar? Can you make me without this? Can you make me without this?" So first I listen to them, and then my mind runs on how I can create a product for them, Or my son. My son has to, if he eats too much of anything, then I like to make it without sugar, without dairy. So he's not gluten tolerant. He's not that, but still there are so many clients of mine who wants gluten-free products. So either my client has to come up with a demand, or my son has to come up with a demand.
Wow.
Can I add something to it?
Yes, please.
Like when you talk about the entrepreneurship, Nepal has a very major geopolitical advantage. Like let me share an instance with you. Like the Indian government has charged duty of around like 66% on US soy. Okay, so this is impossible to import US soy into India, and Nepal charges around 10%. So 10 and 66 is a very big difference. That's impossible out there, and it's getting possible out here. I told you, Nepal is the first country in South Asia who has the US IP soy with us, and we have been importing it. So like 10%, 66% is a major difference. And if you guys have noticed, the best-selling soy milk, the high-value, very good-looking soy milk is getting imported from Thailand, Nepal. Just look at us. We have been importing a pack of soy milk from Thailand and selling in Nepal. We have the soybean with us. Thailand has been making the same soy milk with the same soybeans that we have in Nepal. So what else could you ask for? We have the soybeans with us. We have the duty advantage with us. We have 1.5 billion market next to us. It's just invest something, start entrepreneurship, make soy milk in Nepal. When Thailand can export it to Nepal, can't we export it to India? So what other opportunity could you ask for? And the demand for US soy that we are importing in India is tremendous. The businessmen out there, the processors out there, the importers out there, they're fighting with the government. See, you just can't look at the duty. You just can't say like India has a lot of soybean and we shouldn't import from the US. It has many health benefits. It will give a new platform to the soy snacks manufacturers. If we use US soy, we can make many more innovative products. The entrepreneurship is going to like grow like madly. So we can export it back to India.
But do you think, like, with whatever happening globally, with the global trade things, like, it's going reset, no? I mean, like, everything is changing.
Yeah.
So do you think the advantage that you mentioned is still going to be relevant in coming years?
Currently, like the 66% and 10% duty is going to prevail.
Okay.
India has its own crop, and I don't think so in near future they are going to change it. But Nepal has this opportunity. You pay 10%, get the soybeans. We already have the soybeans. Add machines, make soy milk. It's not very tough task. The machine is not even that expensive. As I told you, yes, the Tetra Pak might cost you something, but still, since you have an export market, we could try for it. So this way, it's a very tremendous opportunity. The domestic market has a nice growing demand. International 1.5 billion market, just India. I'm not talking about China. China already is importing soybean from the US, but India doesn't have. So why not process it, make many sort of snacks and send it back to India? And Indian buyers, they're ready to import from Nepal. They're telling us, yes, open the doors, talk to the government. All the documentation that you need, just provide us, we are ready to buy.
Quite an insight, I mean, like, I get to talk to a lot of private equity venture capitalists, and this is such a nice insight about the 1.4 billion market and investing on a couple of maybe money here in machines and maybe packaging, and then a whole new world is open up. So yeah, interesting.
So there are already a lot of investments coming in for the processing of soybeans especially, because it is an input. So
Local
unlike
investment,
not local machines from India.
No,
and
I mean, like, the investments.
Investments, yeah. Already there, but not enough to fulfill Nepal's demand in terms of soybean meal that goes into animal feed industry. So we have almost around 4 solvent plants here, and then 4-5 other extruders, small scale plants. Still, we are importing our 70% of the soybean meal from India. So I think because you said in the garbage in and garbage out applies for feed industry also, yeah. So what you feed to the bird, or you and they will perform accordingly. So if we can, I think in the feed milling, if you can invest on extruder expeller, so there is a new concept of extruding soybean meal and expelling oil out of it. And it's not that heavy investment as opposed to the solvent industry, because solvent industry is a huge investment project, but the feed industry can do that. And if you can source very good quality soybeans to process, even if it is for their own use, that will add value to the final product in the feed. And I think, as I already told you, it will help to reduce the cost of production. So I think extruder expeller concept would have there's already there are a few of the companies running it, but I think it's high time we take it to a larger numbers, so that at least we produce our own meal for our own industry. So I think we should be self-reliant on soybean meal, one of the largest ingredient that we import from India. So
For people not coming from this industry, help us understand what does a solvent industry do?
yeah, solvent is basically a processing of soybeans. So we bring in soybeans, whole soybean,
The actual beans.
yeah, Excel beans, and then process it with the help of solvent, hexane, and the end products are either oil, crude oil, or the soybean meal. The meal part goes into the animal feeding, and the oil part goes for further processing and sold as soybean oil that we as a cooking oil. So, and also the crude oil is used in animal feed also. So I think it is a substantially high investment, because we also have started that project, but it halt now because of the some internal issues and a very high investment project. So
Can I ask the number? I mean, like, when you say it's high investment, what's the range of investment needed to?
minimum a billion Nepalese rupees. So,
Minimum, okay.
yeah, so that's pretty high. So, but extruder expeller is a relatively low investment project,
How much is that?
around 10 crores. So, but the feed millers who are quality conscious, we have volumes, so they can really invest on that product, on that project, and then make quality input for their own use. So I think it will grow in coming days, as I keep on hearing. I'm also putting this, and then I think US Soybean is also helping out to reach to the technology, right technology to the feed industries, and then
Nice. Okay. So the audience who are watching this online, we're going to link everybody's LinkedIn account below on the description. So please reach out for the consultation. Entrepreneurs are great consultant if you can pay them. So now I'll go back to Deeba. Let me ask you $1 million question.
Okay.
So we have been saying this about how US soy it's better in almost every term. But let me. So why is it better? Why do you think it's better? The why behind the product?
We've heard of a few hints here, but I think 3 things stand out to me: quality, sustainability, and reliability. So the U.S. soy has, as you know, like it's a complete digestible protein. I'd say the U.S. soy, when it comes to sustainability, it's grown to strict standards. So in the United States, all the soy that is grown sustainably, and it's done through the United States Soy Assurance Protocol, it's the SSAP. And I would say when it comes to reliability, the U.S. soy, it's a trusted source of raw material. It goes from the American farmer down to your plate. And whether it's soy-based foods, your fortified products, your tofu, the soy-fed poultry or fish, soy helps power the protein at every single chain. The quality, the sustainability, reliability, and like trust in U.S. soy.
Let's go deeper into sustainability, because I think sustainability is the new hot topic in almost every industry, because I get to work with a few industry in banking and finance sector, and the sustainability has become so big deal on this. So this is the new thing, right? So in what ways US soybean has been adopting sustainable approach in production, or let's say in distribution?
So I think if you look at it from beginning, so go down to the farm level. So just like in the South Asia region, the farms get passed down generations. So I think sustainability has been at the heart at every single US soybean farm. What they are doing is they are protecting the soil today for tomorrow. And they're doing so ever more with sustainable practices, whether it's the cover crops, no tilling of the soil. So what you'll see is like fields of corn with the corn hub. They're not going and tearing the soil. They're planting soy on top. So you're feeding back and looking after your soil. And so I think the sustainability starts there at that farm level. And when you have rules and regulations and audits that are in place, it's just done naturally, right? Sustainability. As also, again, 3 things about the people, right? The planet and profit. Because what you see today, spending power, and what do people spend? More on food. So that sort of uplifts people. And when you have anything that is appealing to sustainability, you know, the newer generation, Gen Z, I think the Gen Alpha, I think that's what my daughter's generation is, they will care more about it, and they're okay spending it and you can trust a reliable partner like US soy to provide that initial protein. It can help with that sustainability for your community.
Do you think, like, even as a mom, do you think the sustainability thing attracts more younger generation than the older ones?
As a mom, I look at things that are going to help my children grow, and whether it's, you know, sourcing sustainable food or clean foods, that's something that I will look at doing. But you have to instill in your kids' mind that it all starts at home, right? So, and when I think of protein, I always think of sustainability, because that's what's going to sustain your health as well.
Gaurav, question to you. Last time we were talking, you mentioned about different kind of certification that you have, and how businesses who does business with you can also pass the certification to, even for them to put it on their label, right? Could we go a bit deeper on that?
So like, as I already told you, the soybean that we are importing right now, it's like identity preserved soybean, US IP soybean. In short, we call it IP. So just like 3-4 months back, SSGA, another like association related to USEC, they handed over us the IP certification, and that was first in the world for soybeans.
Okay, wow.
So like, we got the certification from the relevant authority, and now our customers up to 4 level down the line. Like suppose you buy from me, your customers buy from you, and there's one more like chain to it. So up till 4 levels down the line, they can use the IP logo on the packets. So there is some rules and regulation for that, for like for your final product, at least 90%, I guess, the ingredient should be US IP soybean. So in case if you comply with all the regulations, you can use the logo on your like packaging. And the importance of the packaging, like I'm telling you, it's IP certified soybean. It's a very special soybean. You are my customer, I tell you. But the general consumer who buys it from the market, he doesn't know. He'll just say it's a tofu. It's a like, okay, yeah, US tofu. But when he sees the logo on the packets, he'll get awareness about it. When he scans the logo, when he goes through it, he'll know, like, this is not an ordinary soybean. This is not an ordinary product. This is something special with high value. And similarly, now next month, hopefully we'll get the sustainability logo. So after that, we have 2 logos with us. IP logo, we already have it. Next month, we have the sustainability logo. So the Nepalese consumer from now on the food packets, especially food ingredients, they see IP and sustainability logo. That'll be a big deal. That'll be a game changer.
And both of the logo can pass down to the full
Yes,
layer.
yes, up to 4 levels down.
And so, suppose, for example, if I buy something from you, and if I want to put logo on my packaging, do I just need to go to you, or even I have to go the documentation above you?
I will do the documentation, but ultimately the main authority, they'll get it approved. Like I did the documentation with them. Now I'll do the documentation with you, but still the final approval will be like on the part of USEC and other institutions. So there'll be a big game changer. Like you are advocating that you are using high quality ingredients. So the message needs to reach out to the consumer. So when they buy your product, they'll see the logo and they'll feel the difference. They'll be loyal to you because they know like this is something special, because US government has a very high standard for food grade soybeans. Anything that you buy from the US for food grade, it goes through a very stringent quality process. So there is no if and but. So your customer will be loyal to you.
You mentioned something like scanning. Like, is it have some kind of QR
No,
that
like
you can scan?
just like go through it. They are developing an app.
Google it.
Yeah,
So
you
I'll
can
just
Google
get
it.
to Gaurav's point. So regarding on sustainability and SSAP certifications, so it's not limited to food. So it's limited to feed also. We can also label the animal feed made out of sustainable US soy. And one of my client has just adopted SSAP logo on the products, on the meat products that they manufacture. Valley Cold Store.
Valley
Cold Store, yeah.
Okay, nice.
So they are on US soy, and then is fed on sustainable US soybean meal. And the products that they manufacture, I think, soon will be labeled with SSAP certificates, so that at least the consumers who are really conscious on sustainability, which is again real, I think, a buzzword or happening or talk of the town word now. So I think is they would feel value on it. So that is one of the new thing that we are adopting here.
Will that also go into a 4 layer? For example, if I buy
Yeah, same 4 layer. So there is 2 down now, feed and meat. But if any person is buying whole chicken from Valley and processing products, they can also apply for the SSAP certification, so sustainability logo. So that would build consumers trust that though just to let you know, chicken is one of the most sustainable meat in the world, next to fish. Okay, so sustainable products fed with sustainable input also, so it will add value to the whole ecosystem, the food chain.
And if I can add, so like the initial purchaser of soy, they can obtain the sustainability certificate free. So there's no cost to getting the certificate.
For someone like Gaurav, it's not going to cost extra money.
Correct. Then he can pass those certificates 4 levels.
I remember a question that I wanted to ask. Do you see a market of, I mean, like when you travel outside, you see a lot of different meat items on supermarkets, like smaller, chunkable size of product, right? Do you also see opportunity in Nepal? So like an entrepreneur could figure out something around that?
It's growing, it's growing. And
you don't really see that in Nepal though.
Yeah, you can see now. So there's an increasing trend of value-added products, and also ready-to-eat chicken products or meat products coming out in the supermarket. And there are now a lot of products like meatballs, chicken rings, and
Something that you don't really need to cook, right? You can
yeah,
have it like just
sausages are very common. Yeah, is also ready to eat, ready to cook and ready to eat products. So I think that market is also growing, but on a very slow pace, on a very niche market like Kathmandu and major metropolitans. So, but that is also growing. So a lot of people are now coming into processing, and that's where the money lies. Yeah. So selling live is a sometimes a money drainer, and processing is a money game. So I think a lot of small scale not big investments there, but small investments are coming up.
but there are quite a few health concerns around like packaged meat, right?
There are myths, yeah, always. In soybeans, we talked much about myths, yeah. So there are any foods which are packaged, there are myths around. So is I think educating consumers and consumers also knowing what they need. They need protein or the health, yeah. So I think supplying protein in chicken or any other packaged product is one of the key ingredients that maintains health to the.
I like to come to Sneezy. I'm really curious, what's your go-to market strategy? I mean, like, how do you reach to the retails? How do you reach your end consumers?
So I supply to the retailers, I supply
Okay.
to the supermarkets. Just the bad butney ma cha, Nina and Hagar ma cha. Then people like farm shop badera mostly where my clients can, because my client is unfortunately not everyone. Like because like I said, packaged products ma sugar is much needed. Everyone wants sugar. That thanks to Nestle or thanks to other good big brands, as you consume a product, the first thing you taste is sugar. But if you ask someone, they'll say, I don't like having sugar. But if you provide a product to them without the sugar, they will not accept it. So I still try to supply through it because the awareness is going on thanks to the social media, thanks to people like you. People are getting aware that how health is so important, and thanks to COVID also made everyone realize that how health is so important. And so I do like to supply to all the supermarkets where everyone can come and buy it, but with the awareness that this is not what you're going to. If anyone buys my product, I always tell them it's not going to taste sugary. It is not going to be sweet on your tongue. If you like it, then please have it. Otherwise, do not even try. Bonera banchu. That might not be a right approach, but this is what I want to tell them that.
No, that's in fact a very good sales strategy. You become more authentic and genuine in front of your customers.
Because like I said, I like to do what my son wants to eat, So whenever I'm having tea in the morning, he wants to come and dip some cookie in the tea and have. Now, that cookie has so much sugar, so much of bakery shortening, or the other things, Now, that's why I've developed cookies where there's no sugar, no bakery shortening. So that he can have every morning, he can come at least have a dip of. So the approach is basically going through retailers, I even put a table in farmers market. So, I directly talk to the consumers.
So the consumers you talk to are not the consumers, who buy from the retail side, because it's.
Everyone you can't talk, it's not possible. It's not practically possible. But I always tell them that you can buy it from the supermarkets or from wherever I supply it to. So whenever I go to farmers market, there's a trust development. The manufacturer is standing right there and is educating you about the product. So I always try to do that. So
have you also been using social media to sell it directly, like?
Social media I do, but I supply to them. I like
Okay.
Kathmandu Organics I supply
Okay.
to. I supply to them and then they sell it further. So I don't do direct selling.
Okay, interesting. हाम्रो अडियन्सलाई चाहिँ अब अलमोस्ट हामी क्वेसन्स लिन्छौँ एकैछिनमा होइन हजुरसँग. सो यदि केही तपाईँहरूसँग क्वेसन छ भने लिस्ट आउट गर्नु न है. सो इन नेक्स्ट कपल अफ मिनट्स विल टेक सम क्वेसन फ्रम द अडियन्स. इन्ट्रेस्टिङ. One more question to you, Deeba.
Yes.
How can there be a greater collaboration between farmers, processors, and marketers so that the benefit can be accelerated?
So that's a great question. I think it's a huge one. We all need to know that we cannot operate in silos. Like food and nutritional security needs to be done collaboratively. If it's something that we care about, we all need to do it together. At USEC, at Soy, our guiding North Star is the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal of Goal 2, right? This is what we're aiming for, which is ending hunger. And I think there's a big role and opportunity for continued collaboration and new opportunities to collaborate when it comes to protein producers, when it comes to marketeers. This is where I was explaining to you, asking the why, and also processors. It's once you sort of link the value chain strong, that's only when you're going to make the impact. So the whole supply chain needs to be linked. And collaboration with industries, associations who have more of a platform, and who the government or the health ministries or whatever it is, whoever it is that you're trying to target to get some reform or some change globally, right? So we all have strong connection to food.
100%.
And in this particular market, in Nepal market, it's unfortunately a lot of carbs. And that's changing with the Right to Protein campaign, raising the awareness.
A follow-up question to you. I think you are probably on a very right position to answer this, because you look after a lot of regions, a lot of countries. Are there any particular similarities that you have that you have seen among these countries in these regions, or let's say any differences, any particular similarities and differences?
I'd say similar. I think what I'm realizing is just generally people don't have the knowledge of protein. As a mom, I think this is where we sort of also lack big awareness. Like when you've just had a newborn child, we as moms forget to eat ourselves, right? So we're typically the last. In my case, I'm always typically the last person to eat myself. I feed my child, my husband, and then like kind of leftovers is me. But that has changed. And so I think what we all need to do is, use the tools, use the resources available, become a bit more clever of how to actually increase your protein intake. What advice can you give to somebody? And just don't listen to myths. Myths, it's these sort of things, bad news always stick with us, right? So wake up with a positive mindset.
And I think it's in terms of this fake news, it's also about individual awareness. I mean, like there are tons of tools right now, a lot of AI tools that you can literally use to identify which information is correct, which information is incorrect, because an incorrect information can literally make you do wrong things, right?
That's what exactly happening, yeah, in many of the food items. Yeah.
And protein, it's not a luxury nutrient. It's fundamental. It is building blocks.
Do you know, in Nepal, soybean is added into the soy sauce, into the sauce that is served with the momos. So all the old shops that serve momos, they add soybeans to the sauce.
Main ingredient for keema, yeah. So the momo ingredient. So
Maybe it's the typical Nepali in me that more भन्ने बित्तिकै I start getting watery. So let me put an open-ended question for every one of you here. I think we're almost on the latest stage of our recording. So let's be super optimistic. Let's try to predict in looking ahead for next 5 years. What are the trends that you see will change the consumer behavior of consuming more protein? How it is going to change the soy market in next 5 years? Let's be super optimistic.
I'll start.
Yeah, please.
I think it's already changing. Right?
Okay.
Having said all the myths and everything, it's already changing. Thanks to the influencers, like I said, thanks to you all. People are really getting aware. Even the nutritionists, they might say for now that don't have soy, but they do realize that protein is very important. And ultimately, I feel in 5 years, it is going to be so prevalent that everyone would, I think people are realizing that how dairy is causing them gastritis, how it is causing them cancer. Cancer is getting so prevalent, it is there in every household. So when they'll realize that having something like a soy, or maybe like a USEC soy, if it is not giving you something which is not harming your health, So they want to invest more in that. So I really think that in coming 5 years, the soy industry is going to grow. I don't know, I can't say how many folds, say n folds it is going to grow, because people are really getting aware. Social media is really helping do so. And people like us who are, like how I go to farmers market every Saturday and educate people, like, how they should have these products. So similarly, every one of us is doing their job, and it is really going to grow. And I'm sure that we'll get a healthier population in years to come.
I think my say on this is I think in next 5 years or 10 years down the line, people I think will know more about protein. Then there is already a knowledge around protein there in their mindset or in their studies or in the internet, but they're not practicing it. So major factor is making that happen into your kitchen or into the food habits. So I think that trend will happen because people are more and more health conscious now, and to do that, I think of course he said the food based out of soybeans or even chicken, meat, the consumption will go up tremendously, because as Deeba said, we are typically a rice eater and carb country. So I think we need to change that. We need to have a more balanced approach to our plate for a better living. And I think the younger generations are quite adaptive on that. So they will adapt more on that, more onto that. And I see, as he said, I see a tremendous potential growing it, the industry forward. So at least not next 5 years, at least if we can increase our consumption by 50%, that will be awesome. That will be great. So I see a potential there.
See, we have been a carb-heavy country. Increasing awareness, social influences like you, institutions like yours, they are bringing in more and more awareness amongst the people. Secondly, it is the compulsion of the government as well to keep a healthy population. Government is emphasizing more on nutrition and proteins. So soybean, no alternative apart from soybean I see. And secondly, looking at the nature of soybean, the versatile nature, I told you, from early morning soy milk curd to the end day curry. And secondly, the use of soybean is so versatile, it is being used in midday meals. If you know, Nepalese have been consuming Lito for lactating mothers up to kids. So soybean has been a very vital ingredient for providing protein in the Lito. So from a midday meal, early morning breakfast to the dinner, anything that you have, soybean can be like mixed anywhere and you will not get to know. Only your body will get to know that, yes, I got the proteins. So this is a compulsion. We are a protein deficient country. This is the compulsion from the government. And the world is going towards soybean. So we cannot be an exception. Let's accept it. It's the cheapest stuff with high protein. And especially with the US soy, it is a complete package. It's an affordable product with 42% plus protein. Secondly, like down the line, when you manufacture products, you get the IP certification, the SSAP certification, which enable you and your company to differentiate with your competitors. And secondly, when you ask me, like, what is the benefit of IP certificate? Export markets. When you send your product overseas or to India, to anywhere, they will feel the difference. Okay, this is made from such and such soybean, so let's accept it, let's go behind it. So there is no if and but for it. We have to go behind soybean.
Globally, I think protein is a missing link to a lot of food and nutritional conversations, whether it's at global leadership level, down to local, down to country level. You can be full, but yet still undernourished. And I think this is where soy shines. And protein, it's not just a right now. And where I see Nepal, it's taking action. It's becoming responsible and allowing for entrepreneurs and innovators in this space, like Gaurav and Esteemed, creating healthy options for populations.
I'll add a point here. So I think because I'm a consumer also, so I think there is a strong need for increasing the reach of these soya food products into the consumer market here, at least in Nepal. Yeah. So if I wake up in the morning and go and do a shopping go for shopping these soybean products, I can find it in the neighborhood. So I think that also matters a lot, because when you see the products, you tend to buy it. Yeah.
So it's not just the awareness; it's also availability of these.
Yeah.
products.
Also there is a strong need for, I think, I feel, to make distribution of the soy products to happen.
Yeah, that's lacking. But luckily nowadays, like deep freezers and the refrigerator system that are very common in
Yeah,
Nepal
common
right
in
now.
all
Yeah.
most of the stuff, because
Yeah.
chicken and eggs are highest consuming meat products, because they're available in every nook and corner of the country. If you go and search 10 shops, you'll find at least 2 meat shops and 5 egg shops here around.
Eggs
So
are
you cannot
like-
find.
You find eggs even on a normal
yeah,
moms and
normal,
pops,
normal
kirana
stuff.
pasal, no?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
how you tend to buy. Yeah, you go to buy a milk and then you end up buying eggs. Yeah, because you see there. So I think distribution is something which we need to look at.
Opportunity. Yeah, amazing. You know, I mean, like, it's quite difficult to accept that it's affordable, it's healthy, it's tasty. I'm a big meat lover, but yeah, the awareness thing is still lacking, and hopefully, like, events like this is going to add a much needed value. Let's see if we can get some question from our audience. के छ तपाईहरुसँग यस्तो के क्वेशनहरु हजुरलाई सोध्न मन लाग्यो? एउटा माइक चाहिँ हामीले अडियन्सलाई दिउँ न है.
मेरो क्वेसन गौरव सर अथवा स्नेहा म्याम जसले भन्नुभयो नि हुन्छ यो हाउ इज सोय डेरिभेटिभ प्रडक्ट बिजनेस इज डुइङ इन टर्म्स अफ प्रफिटेबिलिटी
Like as I already told you, it's a new. People are getting aware, and there is a lot to do in soy derivatives, soy protein, soy isolates. The market is very naive right now, so we have a lot to do. And obviously, as I told you, soybean is cheap, so any protein that you derive from it is not going to be very expensive. So obviously, margin-wise, it's a good perspective. And looking at the emptiness in the market, you have a big market to serve. So it's only a go. Thank you.
जस्तो दिनेशजीले भन्नुभयो नि ल्याक अफ एभाइलेबिलिटी छ कि सो इफ वी आई थिङ्क देयर इज अ गुड पोटेन्सियल त्यो प्रफिटेबिलिटी पनि हाई हुनसक्छ इफ वी क्यान मेक इट एभाइलेबल इन एभ्री नुक एन्ड कर्नर होइन एभ्री सपमा एभाइलेबल गरौँ अनि विथ द्याट इफ एभ्री वान इज विलिङ टु बाई देन अटोमेटिकली त्यो पर्चेज पनि हाई हुन्छ एन्ड दि पोटेन्सियल इज हाई इन दिस इन्डस्ट्री
Profit percentage will भन्न मिल्दैन भन्दिनु है. If you can actually say the percentage.
All of you in this room, his company is one of the first buyers of IP soybean. And he has been making soy nuts and making it available through Bhat Bateni, Salisbury and other like traditional outlets. So like a round of applause for him to make the IP soybean commonly available to everyone. Thank you so much, sir.
What's the brand name, by the way?
Suchika.
Suchika.
Yes.
About the consumption of protein, the intake of protein is so important. What are the practices that has been conducted in your places and in your practice that what ingredients or what food items are have been
helping promote. Okay, so yeah, so it's like I've mentioned, the right to protein is a protein agnostic. So we promote all sources of protein. We don't just pinpoint one or the other, but we focus on like high quality protein sources, which is what many people don't know. What are high quality protein sources? Again, like I've mentioned, the amount of protein, it varies from one individual to another individual. And we have developed the proteinometer, which you can use as well to basically answer a few questions that sort of customizes of how much protein you need.
Hello everyone, this is Vivek. I am here from a feed manufacturing industry representing. I usually work with numbers, but also in this 10 years time with feed industry, I've also started to look a bit into feed formulations and all. Yes, as Dr. Dinesh also mentioned that we use around 25 to 30% soya profile. By rule of thumb, it's 60% energy, maize, and then 30% of protein sources and rest others. Before I put on my question, I'd have to tell that we also use US soya as one of our ingredients for feed manufacturing. And the consistency that US soya offers is unmatched. We also tried importing soya from Bangladesh crushers who used to crush the US soya and then import. We tried that, but that consistency was missing. So directly importing from the US, that consistency is quite unmatched. We also tried using Indian 50% high protein soya But then US soya with 46% is better, is even better than Indian 50% high processed soya. So this is what we got to infer from our uses of soya over time. Now, one problem that we face as a feed manufacturer and importers of soya is the time lag that it takes to reach to the country. Now, soya is a very pretty unpredictable in terms of pricing. The volatility is quite high in terms of prices. And we have to also speculate when we are buying at bulk quantities, because minimum we buy, for example, if we're buying from India, we buy mini rigs. So that's a huge quantity that we're importing. So there's a high chance that the price drops by any chances. There's a opportunity loss. Sometimes it goes the other way around and there's a huge profit, but then yes, there's always the chances of loss. So Deeba or Dr. Dinesh, anyone, if you could just, how would a feed manufacturer take it? Because we have to also look into numbers. Protein quality-wise, consistency-wise, reliability-wise, and also sustainability-wise, I think it is unmatched. I attended a conference of USEC in Dubai where we talk about plant-based soya leaving less footprints. So everywhere it just checks the boxes, but for Nepal, it's just about the transit period. That's just is a question mark for the feed importers. That's just a question for Deeba, and maybe Dr. Dinesh also can infer.
Yeah. Thank you for your trust in US soybean mills. As we all tell, that is a predictable product. So when we add US soybean meal into the feed, we can predict the growth performance of the bird or the laying percentage of the hen. So I think is more predictable in nutshell. But as you rightly told, there are some issues with imports. Almost 3 months of turnaround time for imports. Unfortunately, Nepal doesn't have hedging systems also. So had it been some hedging systems in place, I think we should lobby the government for allowing us to hedge the commodity. We don't have that system in place now. That would, I think, drastically reduce your risk, but not the lead time. Lead time will still be there. Yeah. But Indian soybean mills behaving very differently to international markets, so there is an uncertainty always in place. Okay, so I think hedging is the one tool which we can lobby to the government to allow us. Yeah, it means you can hedge, hedge the dollars or the prices in the international market. Yeah, so that at least your price reductions will not affect you.
How can we decrease bad smell of soybean of Nepal? Maybe because of soybean different America, another thing, soybean India, another things, soybean Nepal, maybe another things. Please tell me. Thanks.
Thank you, sir, for the very nice question. See, Nepalese soybean is very good. See, we are Nepalese, we love our products, it's grown in the high hills. But the problem with soy milk and tofu is the beanie flavor. You can't remove it. It's the natural characteristics. It's good for roasting, it's good for curry, everything is good. But when you make soy milk, the beanie flavor, you can't just get away with it. That's a natural thing. So because of that problem, see, it's good, Nepalese soybean is good. Because of that problem, we have the US soy. In US soy, the beanie flavor is very less. When you have soy milk, you will feel it, that it's a soy milk, but still, it's not very strong. And the smell, the taste, the texture is very good. So Nepalese soybean, less used for soya nuts, other sort of products. But in case if you want a very high quality soy milk or a tofu, let's try to opt for the US soy, because the beanie flavor is very low and you can feel it, sir.
Okay, I'm Sonalika Sai. I'm a food technologist and a dietitian. Right now I'm working in a Hams hospital. Okay, what is the purpose of you are importing GM soil from US?
Non-GM.
Okay.
We are not allowed to import GM for human consumption.
Okay, for what reason you are importing that GM soil, or what is that term you use for the?
IP. Identity preserved is a terminology given to a very high quality specific soybean. Like that soybean, if you want for soy milk, you'll get one particular IP soybean. If you want for nuts, that IP variety will be different. So it is variety and use specific.
So you said that right now, that beanie flavor is not in Nepalese soybean, right?
In
beanie flavor.
Soybean, as sir mentioned, there is a little strong beanie taste.
So you import beans or what from US?
We import soybeans from the US.
Okay, soybeans.
High quality, non-GM. Please, do not get confused. Like GM, we are not allowed to import in Nepal. GM can be imported for feed, for animal. Non-GM only for humans.
So that thing for tofu, that soybean has been renowned worldwide.
So,
So
any
that will-
nutritional differences in the Nepalese beans
Yes.
and US beans?
See, Nepalese soybean and the US soybean, the major difference is the protein content. The soybeans that we are getting is around 44%, but we say 42 plus. Sometimes it is 42, sometimes it's 43, it can go up to 44. So it's a very high protein, big size, clear hilum, and with very less beanie flavor, and the smell is also very low.
Okay, regarding soya milk, sir, what is the shelf life? It's like very perishable, and then shelf life?
Ma'am, currently, as I told you, we are into a trial phase, like soy milk and soy tofu. So my Sneha might be the right person.
We do a shelf life of 1 year. We pasteurize the soy milk, and that's how, like I keep saying, that I do only soybean and water in it. So without the preservatives, the shelf life is 1 year.
Without preservatives, there is no any complaint right now?
Complaints, I know.
Okay.
There's no complaints.
So because
Obviously, there's a beanie flavor ko tyo huncha, but people who have adjusted to my brand, they understand that trust euta develop bhaisakyo, that this brand is not going to mix anything along with it. So people see, anything you need to develop taste. How do you develop taste? As you're born, you give cow milk to your kids, or so that's how you've developed the taste of a human. Once you start feeding your child outside food, if you start feeding soya milk or other products, so automatically we add salt to their food, we add sugar to their food, so that is how the kids develop the taste. So from a very young age, if we start developing their taste from soy, or from whatever you want, automatically that taste will develop.
Soya has it allows better digestibility. So do you have any facts or figures that can support this, that use of soya would require feed manufacturer to use lesser enzymes?
So I think soybean has its own characteristics, no matter where it is sourced from and where it is grown. Okay, so US soybean of course has higher digestibility because of good processing conditions and growing conditions that allows the nutrients to better digested in animal, and also in human. Human is already talked about. Okay, so but there are some intrinsic anti-nutritional factors in soybeans that need to be addressed, and in terms of enzymes, we don't recommend lowering of any of the enzymes that are in use right now in poultry operation. So anything that adds digestibility is always better. In enzymes doesn't cost much now, so they're pretty much cheap now. So because of wider uses and highly specific products, so we don't recommend lowering any enzymes. But as such, they are more digestible than any of the origins that we use.
Thank you guys, thank you doctor. I think before we officially close the event, I think Deeba would like to give these three things to our audience who have asked some amazing questions. So with this, we'd like to end our program. Thank you so much audience lai yahasamma aidinu bhayo 2 घण्टा जति बस्दिनु भयो अनि for everybody who is watching this from home, thank you so much for watching. I'll also like to thank our production company WeFindUs for making this happen. WeFindUs is one of the largest content producer in B2B scene. We'll be back again with another amazing conversation, another amazing guest. Till then, you guys take care. Bye bye. Thank you.